Okay, let's go. It's cold. What does that say? 56 degrees. It's 56. It's cloudy. It's still raining. This is the downside, man. I love where I live, but boy, sometimes I wouldn't mind, we get these we where I live, it's like right where the cold fronts just kind of they just go off the shore, and then we get like 4 days of nor'easter. When you're in Florida, it's fun to have a day of nor'easter, and you're not cooked by the sun and all that for an actual day. But around here, this is like 4 days in a row now. I haven't seen the sun, man. There's like a little bit of light coming in, kind of like the Panthers last night. So, how is everybody? What is it? Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. There's no hockey. Everything is weird, is what it is. So, yeah, exactly, Craig. Fire everyone. Exactly. Hey, Simon. Yeah, man, cancel the parade. That's it. That's it. Hey, Icy. Kate, how we doing, man? So, oh, Simon, don't ask me about the gym. I went once the week before, once last week. I have not been getting there as often as I would like. And Donna's new work schedule, she's got to be work at 5, so we're up at 4. So, like, by the time I get up and I get moving and I do some content for the channel, I'm so friggin' tired. I don't got the energy to go to the gym. So, it is what it is. It's what happens. Steven says, easily the worst game of the year for both Marchand and Verhaeghe. Nobody was really good last night. I mean, Tarasov played pretty well. I think we can certainly feel like Tarasov played pretty well. Hungry, yeah, no wonder we're getting morning video. Yeah. That's what I don't have to get up with her. Like, I could sleep in. She could go to work. I could sleep in until 6:30, 7 o'clock. But then I'm not going to really have the time to do what I need to do to get a video out. Those things, you got to see what's going on, pick a topic, do the research and everything. It takes a few hours to get those 5 minutes out. It's unbelievable. It don't feel like it would. And then from when I look at when I started to when I'm done, I'm like, it's 2 hours. It's a 5-minute video. It's 2 hours, because like today's video, I put in stuff. I had highlights and interviews and stuff, so it doesn't get copyrighted. Hey, Snowman. So Craig says Tarasov was solid and looked fast considering his size. Yeah, he's a big dude. I didn't realize how big he was, but he's a big guy. So I think we're solid there. He looked good in his positioning and good in his movement for sure. We collectively, it's wild, man. As a team, just as a complete team, just nobody had legs last night. I mean, Samoskevich a couple of times, but like Rodriguez, I didn't see anything out of him. The fourth line was pretty much invisible, right? Reinhardt did wake up a little bit, though. We'll give Reinhardt some credit there. Forsling was just getting beat all night. Just the body language on these guys was. We talked about this, right? I mean, there's going to be nights where we play teams like Philadelphia, and I thought it was going to happen against Ottawa, where if the other team decides that they want to take it to us and make us work, there'll be a lot of games when the Panthers are just like, whatever, man. It's October. We're not playing, So if we keep winning 3, we're losing 1, I think we'll be in good shape. Hungry says it's a slight miracle the game was tied in the third. They were very flat. Yeah, we had a couple of spurts, and Tarasov kept us in the game for sure. How do I pick the topic, Simon? Usually I'll go to Twitter and see what people are talking about. And that's usually I figure that's the best thing to do. Kate says it'll be nice when we play like ass. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Sure. And last night was just the part that I find interesting is how it's the whole team. You know what I mean? Like, you could just tell the entire team was just like not wanting to play that game. I hate to put it that way, But they definitely look like if that game would have been tonight, because we played Saturday, right? So you only had the one day off and you had to travel. So you kind of get the feeling like if we had played that game today, that maybe things would have been a little bit different. But hey, Philadelphia is not an awful team when they play well. And Vladar is a good goalie. Every time we've played against him, he's given us fits. So when you get a team like Philadelphia, that's good, not terrible, but they're decent. And, they're going to put some effort in, and they got a good coach now. And if you mix that with solid, dependable goaltending that can keep you in some games, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but certainly, 90 points for that team, 85, 90 points I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibility. Maybe they need a little bit more goal scoring, but they almost won the previous game. The goal got called back. Hungry says, I blame it on that love creation, love creation mascot. There's April Wagon. And yeah, Icy, good thing about last night keeps us humble. Right. Yeah. We don't, it's all good. What do we got? What are the two games we got here coming up Wednesday and Thursday? The only thing that I'll say, and I said this last night, so what do we got? You got the Wings tomorrow and the Devils on Thursday. The only thing I'll say is that I kind of surprised that that's how we played the first road game of the year. I really would have thought that with no Barkov, no Tkachuk, that the team would have made an extra concerted effort to be exceptional in the first road game of the year, but that did not happen. That did not happen. So, and I'm also curious. Hey, Mythical says as punishment, every time we put in the effort we did last night, all players should be required to wear Maurice's blue suit. Man, that was awesome. I mean, especially as a colorblind dude, I could wear that and get away with it completely. So what, I want to look at the face-off percentages from last night. What is going on? I'm hearing something here. Hold on a second. What do we got here? Is that just the mail truck? Yeah, the mail truck must have been delivering stuff. Damn it. I wish I would have just given them my packages. I would have not had to go to the post office. Let me look up the stats here from last night and see how we're doing in the face-off circle, because that's the one thing that I'm not. So you're saying 51%, right? But I want to look at the individual players. So we're going to start with Lundell, who was probably close to 58, 60% last night. Let's go to game logs. So last night, where are we? Oh, they don't give you the individual face-off percentages for each game. Damn it. Well, come on now. That sucks. All right, so I'm not going to get the information I need there. Oh, well, I guess we'll just have to see. We know where they were yesterday, so we'll just not look at the game logs. Where the hell did Lundell just go? Here we go. He was at 58%, and now after last night, he's at 61. So Lundell was probably like 65% in the circle. Go to the game box score. Are they going to give it to it? You mean let me see. The one I want to know is Bennett. Just real quick here. Because Bennett had been at about 44%. And now he is at 42%. Bennett is my concern. That's really what I wanted to see was Bennett. Because Cunnin, if Nosek comes back, we know what Nosek's going to be. So this is my area of concern here. Now, Bennett has been a 2C, and you see 48, 46, 47. That's acceptable. My concern was how was he going to do when up against top-level competition on a nightly basis. So, yeah, thank you, Vincent. I almost forgot how pissed off I was about that. As pissed off as you can be after winning 2 cups. What the hell? There's 3 minutes left, and we pull the goalie. And you guys know I hate that anyway. Like, if I was the coach, like, the goalie, like, almost never is getting pulled. But we had been playing pretty damn well. There was no reason to do that with 3 minutes left. And, of course, we know what happens. And then, just to make matters worse, we didn't even have possession of the puck when they took Tarasov off the ice the second time. We didn't even have possession. And like Vincent is saying, why do you go into panic mode? That's so not, is very odd. Is very unlike what I would have expected from Maurice on a night like last night. I mean, 2 minutes is pushing. 2 minutes, I know, is about when you want to do it. But with 3, the first road game of the year, we had been, we had been beating them up pretty good with shots. I don't know. I don't know what that was. Paragon says, Bennett is my concern too. I have him on fantasy and he's not been producing. Ironically, last night he got more points than the loss. Yeah. We need a sober coach next game. Oh, count me out. Yeah, plus it wasn't like they were peppering the goal. Right, exactly, Craig. Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't know why he. Paragon says, I'm sure it's not true, but I feel like we're one of the worst teams when the goalie is pulled. I don't know. It might just feel that way because we're always paying attention when the goalie gets pulled. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure somewhere there's stats about that. It does feel like we very rarely, like, I know it happens, but it just kind of feels like when the opponents of the Dolphins get the ball with 50 seconds left and they need a touchdown, or a field goal, you know what's going to happen. They're going to get the field goal. The Dolphins are going to lose. You know this. You know this. And it kind of feels the same way when the Panthers empty the net. It's like, well, game over. Game over. And every once in a while, it doesn't work that way. But Bennett is -8, worst of the team. Vincent says, last game, they barely got a win against Philadelphia. Not a good matchup this year. But, man, white flag, Maurice pissed me off. Yeah, we agree. We agree there. I didn't understand that, man. I don't think anybody would have asked him about that. I mean, I know we had the offensive zone draw, but we had been struggling to keep possession in spaces all night long. But it is what it is. Look, Philadelphia played a good enough game. Like, they deserved to win. I thought we were going to overtime, but then it seemed like we kind of, once we got to 2-2, I don't want to say we ran out of gas, but I think they forgot Bobrovsky wasn't in net. They just expected Tarasov to take a shooting gallery there, and it is what it is, right? Hungry. Oh, he was 38 last night. Jeez. Yeah. Vincent, and that definitely was not my fault. Definitely was not my fault, man. No. Everything had been working right. I forget the ring at the beginning of the recap. I go get the ring during the first intermission. We give up a goal as soon as I put the ring on, and then we win the game. That's been what's been happening every time. So, same thing happened last night. I forgot the ring, went to go get it, put it on. They scored, and then we didn't do the rest. The rest. Lundell was at 77%. Yeah, so that's a monumental difference, Hungry. Holy crap. Greg says, just more proof that playing with the lead is better than from behind. Not to mention leads me the fourth line is not used. Yeah. I'm curious about the time on ice. I mentioned that last night. Let me see. The fourth line was not, probably they got the same number of, let me see. How many, what was Greer's ice time? No, I know game logs. I know we'll get it here. Last night, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. So the fourth line, so Greer played 7 minutes against Chicago, 8 against Philadelphia, 8 against Philadelphia. But in the Ottawa win, 12:07. So I wouldn't mind Maurice showing that fourth line a little bit more, trust. Um, all things considered, when you don't want to be wearing out your top two lines, we're not as deep as we normally would be. I don't know why. Like if you look at Cunnin, and he's playing 11 and a quarter a night, and his faceoffs are at 47%. So we're almost 48. So we're good there. But he's definitely capable with San Jose 15 minutes a night, 15:44, 15:26. Like he's capable of playing an extra 2 or 3 minutes a night, and we certainly know Greer and Gadjevich are. Yeah. So I would like to see things get a little bit evened out that way. It's so early. They're good, right? You know what I mean? When our fourth line is on the ice, I am not thinking, oh great, we can't score. Like Greer's more aggressive offensively than Luosterainen is, Vincent, I think what we heard yesterday was he's going to get a second opinion. I think that's where we're at. So, Paraga says, so given we have our first loss, I think Coach M puts the lines in the blender. Well, he did it a little bit yesterday, right? Was it yesterday or the game before? God, what did we have? We had Lundell for Hagee and Reinhart. I like that. So where does that leave us? That leaves us with Bennett and Marchand and Luosterainen. No. Yeah. I think that's what we had going on yesterday. We have some issues. We have some issues because we know Luosterainen is great at defense. He's not really going to put the puck in the back of the net a lot. Rodriguez is doing good at 3C. Boquist has a goal, but we're really kind of short a little bit on guys that Luosterainen's got to put the puck in the back of the net. He looks so uncomfortable offensively. Safas, you say you thought we outplayed Philly, to be honest? I don't know. I'd have to disagree, but that's okay. Craig says Cooley probably needs surgery if I was to guess. Yeah. Jalopy says still too much thinking instead of coming from the spine when Parkey and all in the ring. Yeah, I mean, I love Luosterainen. But if you're going to be in the top six, there's going to be some nights where we're going to be a little short on offense. You know what I mean? Staniskevich did what he could last night. I like this thing that he's doing where he's using his speed to get around guys and drawing the defender and then putting the puck into the front of the net in a pass. I think I'm liking that, Vincent. Real says, how about Lundell with Hagee, Reinhart, Bennett with Mackey and Marchand, Rodriguez with Ito and Boquist? Yeah, that sounds about right. Real. Yeah, because then, if Ito can still take a draw if we need him to on that third line. Yeah, I like that's about probably the best usage of the best spreading out of the talent that we have. I think that we need, Lundell's got to be the top line with that face-off percentage. That's got to be where we're at. Paragon says Gregor or Schwint coming up. If so, who do I sit? I would have originally said Gadjevich, but he just signed a contract, so I don't think he's getting ready to be benched or anything like that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm content with how the fourth line is playing. I don't really think that there's a whole lot. Is Gregor a center? Would he be taking Cunning's spot for a day? But Cunning's been good on the PK too. So yeah, Frosty says I think Cunning is the Stenlund replacement we missed. Yeah, he's definitely younger. He's got some. He's just got to. We got to get him to shave his head, man. Come on, kid. Real says Next time we win, Panthers throw Tua on the ice because he's a rat, right? Craig says, notice also they pass rather than put pucks on net a few times when they had some open shots. A little bit. Sir Fossey, yeah, I would. I'm hoping that as well. He says I would resign Cunnin soon. So, and then there's hardly anybody left to even sign, right? Which does anybody else agree with me? I think Balinskis worked on his skating. He seems better. I'm not saying he's Kale McCarr, but I think I like Balinskis. To me, he's looked a little bit more active, maybe a little bit faster, a little bit more in control of his skates. So I feel good there. It's just the night. Sir Foster Petrie looked bad last night. There was a couple times he looked slow. I hadn't seen that so far, but a couple times he did get caught a little bit flat-footed, for sure. But I think the whole team was, right? Frog says Balinskis looked good. Petrie and Jones looked slow. Yeah, Balinskis looked like he had some energy last night. He was one of the guys that had some energy. Him, Samoskevich. Reinhardt did pick it up. There. That was a hell of a play. No, bro, he's filling in for Kulikov. He's Parag, and Balinskis is filling in for Kulikov. So, but other than that, it's good problems to have. You know, it's good problems to have. Once Tkachuk, now when Tkachuk comes back, that's definitely going to help us. We at least we know Chucky's coming back, right? Vincent says, except the fact that they put Lundell with Marchand and Bennett. They put Lundell with Marchand and Bennett with Mackey, which obviously leaves Erod between Carter and Reinhardt. Only one change in the lineup, Erod for Barkov. Maurice is weird sometimes. Right. I get what you're saying. I mean, Maurice did tell us that he was gonna, mess around with the lines early in the year just to check the chemistry and whatnot. Real, yeah. At least Bennett got one. Reinhardt looked like he woke up for sure. So, but it will help when Chucky comes back. That's for sure. Very interested to see what kind of game he's going to attempt to play coming off of the injury and with Barkov out. Where does he fit? So if we keep Lundell, if you keep Lundell with Reinhardt and Verhaeghe, and then you go Bennett with Tkachuk and Samoskevich, then maybe you could go Rodriguez, Marchand, Luosterainen, and maybe that will help give Marchand a little bit less minutes, and stop, and everybody will have a little bit more offense that way. And then we'll just have to see. Fossey says I would go Bennett, Marchand, Chucky. I don't know if I want those two on the same line. Because if you do that, Greg says Bennett with Chucky. Yeah, Bennett with Tkachuk and Mackey. Yeah. Well, that's the line that worked last year, right? It was Bennett with Tkachuk and Samoskevich. Vincent says if you just put Erod with Carter and Reinhardt, that's true too. That's true as well. The kicker is, figuring it out now, because I think Luosterainen really should be on the third line, but we don't have anybody. Defensively, we need him right now with Barkov out. Yeah. Last year they just put Chucky on the right, and they just put Samoskevich on the left. That's what they did last year. I think Samoskevich prefers to be on the right, I think. But he can obviously, with his speed. And Craig wants to put the old third line back together. Problem is, you got to have Lundell at top. And so now you've got Luosterainen on your top line. And I just don't know. I just don't know about that. Oh no, Vincent. No. No, we can't trade E2. Oh no. Yeah, you're saying when Chucky returns, put the old line, put it back together again. I don't know. Because you got to have Lundell taking the number one draws. That's where we're really going to miss Barkov is having we had two Barkovs basically in terms of being able to win draws at a heavy clip. E2 for Kopitar. Oh. I would hate to lose any of our guys, but I don't even know. Well, that would only be if Barkov's not coming back, right? Real and Vincent. In terms of defensively shutting out top lines and being able to take those draws, we had two guys. We had Barkov and Lundell. That you could throw the Lundell line out there against the McDavid line and everything, and still expect good results. Now we got Lundell. That's it. And Bennett's not really great in the circle. Rodriguez is decent, but the only two guys that were over 50% last year were Barkov and Lundell. That's what I'm meaning to say. So we knew that was going to happen. And then what did Frost says I would give Petrie a night off if Kulikov is out. What are you gonna put Bornfoot in? You'd have to go Belinskas, Bornfoot. I don't think Petrie's getting taken out. He wasn't great last night, but nobody was great last night. It was wild. I mean, Forsling wasn't even good last night. Forsling was just getting beat to every puck. When you see him not skating, you know something ain't right. I wonder when did they travel? I guess they would have traveled Sunday, right? Because they played Saturday. I guess they would have traveled Sunday. So they just did not look at all like themselves. Hey, David, how you doing, bud? Gigi said Roddy looks aggressive so far this year more than last year's regular season. Yes. Yeah, he's definitely stepping up his game purposefully. You can see. So they traveled yesterday. They traveled in the same day. That's interesting. I guess for a long road trip, right? Yeah, Cade. Somebody else mentioned to me about a possible flu bug. Hopefully they're not sick. That is how they look, though, right? When they get sick. Where'd we play? It's interesting because they played in Philadelphia, and there is a little bit of a nasty flu virus going around in this area. We're only about 90 minutes away. So, but if they just traveled yesterday, they wouldn't have been sick from that. So they just got bored. They wanted to give me something to bitch and complain about. They got tired of all the praise, I guess. David says Philly's so nasty the air could have made them sick. Oh man. Well, if they got the same weather we do right now, they got nice, fresh, cold air coming in from the north. It's been raining and raining and raining and raining. 56 cloudy and windy for like 3 straight days now. So it is what it is. We'll be all right. And let me look at the standing. I know Tampa finally won, right? If anyone was sick, it's Tarasov. Tarasov was actually pretty good. So yeah, the Bruins finally lost. We finally lost. What do we got? We've allowed 10 goals into 4 games. That's pretty damn good. So Panthers, Bruins, Canadians, and then of course the Lightning. But it's obviously early, but poor Sabres, man. And the Metro is already starting to fix itself. Hurricanes, Capitals, Devils. And over in the West, I mean, everything is kind of as you would expect it to be, except for the Kraken being in first place. there's no big shocks so far. Nobody's tearing it up. Nobody's tearing it up. That's for sure. Avalanche looked pretty good though. Avalanche looked pretty good. Although I know I don't think their schedule has been all that heavy. Let me see who they play. The Kings, Mammoth. They lost to the Stars in the shootout, and then they beat the Sabres. So they got another few games here. Jeez, they played the Avalanche and the Bruins play twice in the next week. Twice in the next 10 days, Avalanche and Bruins play. Huh. And that's also true, Shafasa. You always get goalied by Vladar, right? David says you're going to get tired of hearing this, but it's another perfect day here, 83. 83 is not bad. Yeah. 73 is better, though. But 83 is not bad. JC says, I heard the Sabres front office blocked Zito's phone number. Jeez. Vincent says, speaking of the Kraken, that's what a coach in tight volleyball shorts can do to your team. Well, are they undefeated? Where are they? I know they said they're in first. Yeah, they're two. They only played 2 games, though, right? They've only played 2 games. Boy, Vegas has played 3 games. The Kings have played 4. They've allowed 16 goals in the 4 games. They've also scored 12. Jeez. And then I made that little video about the Sabres this morning. The Sabres have 2 goals in 3 games. God dang. Ottawa don't look so hot either. What happened with them? Tampa's allowed 13 in 3 games. And that's it. No big shockers. So as Frosty says, what grade would I give Tarasov last night? B, right? A B. Yeah. An A would have been stealing the game. An A performance would have not allowed that last goal. Not that it was his fault, but he was good. He kept us in the game. So, what was this? Oh, Real says you wanted Vladar or Lyon for backup. Yeah, I just don't think we could afford either one of those guys. I don't know what Lyon's getting paid, but we needed bare bones, minimum wage. Real says, did anyone ever consider both teams could lose their Marner trade? Brady Tkachuk is out 4 weeks? Oh, when did that happen? Oh, man. Is that an update from this morning? Yeah, the Kings had to be annoyed to start the season with a back-to-back. How do you schedule that, man? Come on, NHL. Yeah, Lyon looked okay, right? They probably have a reward system now in Seattle, Vincent. So you think the Bruins can sneak in, huh? I don't know. I mean, Canadians are still going to be good. Who's if you're saying you think the Bruins could sneak in, who's out? Senators or Canadians? Or does it all fall apart in Toronto? I don't know. I had originally said I didn't think Ottawa was going to make the playoffs, and then I changed my mind and snuck them in. Or did I? I don't remember. Yeah, I think I kept all 8 teams. I think I kept the playoffs the same for the Eastern Conference. As far as says Senators, if they don't get better. What happened to Brady? Let me see. Let me just look that up yourself, Josh. Let's see. What? Why am I not? Oy vey. Why am I signed out? Was Kyle using this? I bet you he signed me out yesterday. Now I'm going to get a phone. No? I'm good? Okay. Let's see. Brady Tikachuk. Like Pikachu, but Tikachuk. There we go. Missed a significant amount of time with a hand-wrist injury. Oh, the team is currently evaluating whether or not he'll need surgery. Here's the play. Let me see. I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm not going to. What happened? Oh, Dan. It looks like he just like toe picked. Well, he's screaming that somebody must have hit him. Let me rewatch this again. I don't want to get copyrighted.
Tries to get his hands up in last second to defend himself.
Let me see. Oh yeah, Yossi. He barely touched you though, Brady. He barely kind of touched him. Brady. I think Brady's toe picked and goes down. That's weird. So his hand is busted. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. That's a shame, right? Yeah, it's a hand injury. Trust. Yeah, it's a questionable hit on him. Yeah, I don't know. That I kind of feel like maybe I'll do a little members video on that later. Like I said, I kind of feel like I'm watching it again here.
5-foot area. He hits the boards hard, and then.
Yeah, I know you're bitching and complaining, but I mean, where he's standing when Yossi hit him. I mean, where Yossi is standing even with the back of the net, like you can't expect that guy from there that he's going to go flying face first into the boards. And I like Brady. You know, I don't got a dog in this fight, but he barely hits him. Chucking. He tripped. It was a hit, but then he like launches forward long after the hit. Let's see. JC says just ordered new gear. It hurt. Blades 200, gloves 200, insoles 75. Just about 500 for 3 items. Good Lord. Good Lord. Real, yeah, that's interesting about the hopefully they don't both miss. Yeah, don't let Toronto crash out, right? That would make for good content, though. Yeah, Truckee will be the trade deadline edition. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Cade. We'd get a legendary Dangle crash out if the Leafs didn't get in. Shafasi, he's asking if I think Chucky's really back in December. Probably January. You know what I mean? That's going to be my guess, is probably January. Oh, what the hell is she barking about? Hold on a second. Hold on. Is there somebody here? Nobody's here. She's become, Leia has become very protective about the house. She hears a noise or whatnot, she starts barking. She didn't do that up until maybe the last month, 6 weeks. Dangle had a dramatic YouTube video about the second Leaf loss to Detroit. Did I watch that one? I think I watched that one. I think I did. Well, that sucks about Brady. That's going to be bad for Ottawa, though. That could open the door if the Bruins could play halfway decent. What's Ottawa's schedule? You're talking about being out for a month. Let's see. Oh, they got the Sabres, Kraken, Islanders. Okay. And they got the Oilers, Flyers, Capitals, Bruins. So a mixed bag there. Blackhawks, Flames, Canadians, Bruins. Boy, they're going to play the Bruins twice without Brady. That could open the door a little bit if the Bruins are actually really decent. 3 times. The Bruins and Senators play 3 times between now and November 13th, which is a month. So they're going to play the Bruins 3 times and the Flyers twice. Not that the Flyers are going to make the playoffs, but that's a scheduling problem without Brady for sure. And then they've got a long road trip. Oh my God, they got a long road trip coming up November 20th. Ducks, Sharks, Kings, Knights, Blues, Stars, Canadians. That's 7. They have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game road trip from November 20th to December 2nd. On top of the 3 games against the Bruins and the 2 against the Flyers, all without Brady Tkachuk. That's not good. That's not good. Yeah, and the Sens already haven't looked great, right? Yeah. Very interesting. So, yeah, I think I'll do a little something with that for the members. What's the general consensus here? What is well, that guy doesn't have enough. He's going to miss at least 4 weeks. Yikes. That's a shame. Well, that is what it is. Ottawa was just about to turn 2. You know what I mean? It was just about to turn the corner. And it ain't happening just yet. I don't think so. How do I like our schedule set up before Chucky comes back? Yeah, excuse me. I kind of feel fine about it. It was different when we had Barkov, obviously. Wings, Devils, Sabres, Bruins, Penguins, Knights, Ducks, Stars, Ducks again. We get the Ducks twice. That's interesting. The games against the Knights, that's a home game, Saturday, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So Ducks, Kings, Sharks, Knights. That's the Knights twice. So we got Vegas. Both our games against Vegas are without Chucky. That's good. We don't need them breaking him again. That's fine. 2 games against the Ducks without Chucky, and I think the Sharks as well. No, just the one against the Sharks, at least. We got the Flyers again. Finally, we got Toronto, Oilers. We're still in December here. Preds, Jackets, Islanders, the Mammoth. I mean, we're playing everybody. It's we just have to survive without them. It is what it is. There's no really huge bad trips or anything like that. We do have a lot of home games. We go out on the road starting January 6th, and that's a road trip. Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Buffalo, the Hurricanes, the Capitals. So that's a 6-game road trip starting January 6th that maybe you'd like to have him back for. I think that's where you'd like to maybe get him back by that road trip. Praga says we need to beat Detroit on W. Devils will be a bona fide contender. Be first bona fide contender we would have expected to see Tarasov against Detroit and Bob against New Jersey. I guess, I thought, but are you going to play Tarasov 2 times in a row? Probably not, right? So then it might end up being, let me see. It might end up being Bobrovsky against the Wings and then Tarasov against the Devils. Maurice has made some interesting coaching decisions so far this year that I haven't exactly been expecting. Really thought Tarasov was going to play one of those first 3 games because of the back-to-back. So now you're going to have Tarasov playing 2 of the next 3, last night being one of them. And then, of course, he pulled the goalie with 3 minutes left. Craig says they have a vet to carry them, Giroux, so try to play 500 in that stretch. Yeah, if Giroux still has enough juice in him to do it. Am I surprised about the Preds' start? I mean, they've played 3 games. The defense obviously looks better. They're still not scoring. You know what I mean? They still only got 8 goals in 3 games. So I don't think they're going to have the juice to keep that up. And then, they played the Jackets. They lost to the Mammoth. And then they did beat Ottawa, right? And let me see this Ottawa game. How many of those goals were empty net against the Senators? Let me see. So 2. So they've scored those 8 goals, but it looks like 2 of them were empty nets last night against Ottawa because Omar gave up 2 goals. So the other 2 must have been empty netters. So I don't think much of that in terms of they're just not scoring. Hey, David. Yeah, the winter roadie will be the test. Yeah, exactly, Craig. I'd like to get him back by then. Exactly, Mike. Yeah, cancel the parade. Cancel the parade. I'm just going to return the 2 championship signs because it's over. It's just over. Vincent says that the Preds win tonight. We can maybe say there's something. Who are they playing tonight? Let's see. Oh, come on. Why didn't you take me all the way back here? They are playing. Yeah, the Canadiens. Yeah. If they beat Montreal in Montreal, then maybe. Montreal is probably going to dog walk them, honestly. Frost says, which conference team do I think misses playoffs that made it last year? Well, what did I pick? Do I have those? I don't think I have them on this laptop. What did I pick? I have to go to my YouTube video now. Let me see. Because I know in the Atlantic, I picked the same teams. So let's see. NHL season preview prediction. 387 views after years. Thank you, YouTube. Let me turn this volume down so I don't blast it over everybody here. Let me see. What did I say? To remember these things. What's this? So I picked in the Pacific Knights, Oilers, Flames, Kings. So that's the same. Is that the first? Okay. And so where is, hello? Here we go. No, that's the Metro. I'm looking for it. It must have been before this. Here we go. In the Centric, Avs, Stars, Jets, Blues. So that would mean the Wild were out and the Blues were in. I think that's picked. Yeah. But, don't bet money on my picks. Yeah, so that's the only change I made actually was Wild out, Blues in. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Real. Fire Maurice. We need a coach like McDaniel. I concur. McDaniel would have emptied the net with 6 minutes left. while the game was still tied. Oh, yeah, Colin, you'd enjoy that. Yeah. Fire Zito, bring in Greer. God almighty. Oh. Am I broken or what? They play the Leafs tonight? Well, maybe I am broken. Maybe I am broken. It's the point still stands, though. What did I see? Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, what do you want from me? The point still stands. Actually, no. My point is better. It doesn't really mean anything if they beat Toronto. If they beat Montreal, then we got something. Toronto can get beaten by anybody. That's nothing to brag about. So no, I stand by my point, even though I was wrong. If they beat the Canadians, then they got something. And yeah, you already know I'm broken. Jeez. Who the fuck has the Panthers doing the President's Trophy? Ooh. I mean, before Barkov got hurt, I mean, anything is possible. I don't know about this one. I don't know about this year. Rugg says Blues looking strong, although Jets beat them. Yeah, the Wild and the Blues, it's a long shot, sure. Hey, Great White, maybe we'll do a little better than the Sharks this year. Poor Nick. Nick live streamed that game the other day. I caught it. The one where the Sharks lost 7-6 in overtime. He was live streaming that game, poor dude. But I guess it gave him plenty of goals to call. Yeah, bringing both Greers from the Dolphins and the Sharks. Yeah. Collins has been trying out fantasy hockey for the first time this year. It's pretty fun. Put your knowledge to the test. Yeah, we'll do a team next year. I asked Kyle about it, and he had a good point. He gets so wrapped up into fantasy football that he didn't want to have to deal with fantasy hockey every day. Andrew says, supposedly reports have that McDaniel will not be fired and the Dolphins and Ross like him and will do anything to make it work. Yeah, I seen something similar to that, Andrew. I mean, it's just brutal. It's just brutal. I can't imagine that a new GM, if you fired Greer and went to get a new GM, the GM's going to be like, I want to get another coach and a quarterback. I mean, it's just abysmal at this point. Vincent. Kate says, stranger things have happened. We barely got in the playoffs 2 years ago and made it to the final. So, yeah. Yeah. Doing pretty good, Simon. I'm 4-2. I think Kyle is 3-3. So, I'm doing pretty good in the football. Considering that when we had the draft, I was given an F for my draft, which is ironic because in hindsight, because of the injuries and play of certain players, not exactly, I had Lamar and Derrick Henry, and of course Lamar is out, and Derrick Henry is, I guess, a shell of himself now. I don't know what happened to that dude, but somehow I keep winning games. So, but I to do a hockey one, geez, you got to pay attention every single day. I don't know. You know how many times if we had a hockey pool, you know how many times when I would be on the member stream at like 6:45, I'd be like, oh damn, I forgot to set my lineup. I guess I could set the lineup then, but you have to set it every day, not just when your own team plays, you dumbass. So yeah, back to what I said about Kyle. He didn't want to have to focus on doing it every single day. And I don't blame him because he puts a lot of mental effort into setting his lineups, which is why I get a giggle when he costs himself. He costs himself games many times because he makes a roster, then he overthinks it over the course of the week, and he overthinks, then he changes it at the last minute, and then he loses because of those changes. Like he's better about it this year. He's learned his lesson. Last year was bad. So he's learned his lesson this year. So I think he won. So actually he might be 4-2 like me. because he won his game. Yeah, because Josh Allen crapped out last night, right? Yeah. So it's all good. Great White says if Kyle had a baseball channel, what team would he cover? I think he would. I mean, I don't think he would cover one individual team. I think if he ever did it, he'd be a Marlins fan, but I think he would just cover whatever games he's most interested in. The kid's knowledge of it blows mine away in terms of just like what he remembers, the stuff that's in his brain. Last night he's just randomly streaming the end of the Dodgers Brewers game, and he's calling it like, all right, well, there's the out, so this guy's coming up. Like he knows the lineups. I'm like, you don't even watch baseball. Like, how do you know? How do you know? What do you you don't even watch? And he's like, he knows the players and the storylines and the whole thing. So I keep telling him to do it, but he does the hockey good. That's the other thing. From like he called the Ottawa Senators game, with the Panthers the other night, and because he was calling the Senators games in the playoffs, he just remembered all the guys' names and numbers from the previous year and just was calling the Ottawa part of the game like he was the Panthers. It's crazy. I can't even remember my own damn team's names half the times. Like, who was that? I can't see it, first of all. But so yeah, I'm just waiting for him to get good enough so I can retire. Colin says Bills suck. How is this bad? Well, I think the Patriots are actually pretty good. The Bills are just the Bills do the same thing every year. They that's why they keep ending up not having the number one seed, is because they putz around during the regular season, losing some games that maybe they shouldn't have lost. But I'd rather have that than what we have with our Dolphins. So Great White says he remembers every team in their playoff history. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, kids just everything he reads, it's in there. It's unbelievable. So I just keep helping him along. You know what I mean? Like when at first he didn't even want to, not the streaming, but it took a while for me to even get him to really like want to do a video and kind of want to be on camera. I'm like, Kyle, you're good, man. You're better than me. I can't do this shit. I'm good for a few things, but he's way better at it than I am I can call a football game because there's enough time in between, you know what I mean? I could call a football game, but a blind squirrel can call a football game. So not really bragging. All right, everybody, time to roll. I got to get the packing ship done, get out in my nice, it's still 56 degrees, 56 cloudy and rainy and windy. So, all right, that's going to do it for today. I did have a video out earlier and about the Sabres, but I felt bad for them. Hey, if you watched that video that I put out earlier, I showed you guys the Sabres channel and subscribe to that kid's channel. I thought my ratio was bad. I'm always complaining that I got like 4,000 videos and only got like 2 or 3 subscribers per video. This poor kid has 1,100 subscribers. He's been doing it for 7 years. He's got 2,400 videos and he's just over 1,100 subscribers. So I felt bad. I felt bad for the kid. And he's working it too. Like he's got video after video after video. He does other stuff than the Sabres. But if you watch the video and you go to his channel, subscribe, leave a comment for him, because I just found it, it just randomly came up when I was searching for Sabres stuff. And it just makes me realize how people don't find this channel, because this kid's been doing it for 7 years. I never seen him before. You know what I mean? Never come up on my feed before. So it's probably dozens of people like him and me that are just obscure except to their fan base, you know what I mean, to their team's fans. So it's the first time my channel's big enough to send people to somebody else's channel to help them out. So, yeah, if you watch the video, go to the kids' channel. I call them a kid because they're all young to me. So, all right, appreciate all the support. I might have a members video out for you guys a little bit later. And other than that, I shall see you mañana. Buffalo going back to the ECHL. Jeez. Poor Sabres fans, man.